We have covered a lot of fast food history here on the videocast, and today we are going to be looking at the nerdiest fast food promotions of the 1990s that we haven't already covered in one of our other videos. Now, we are defining nerdy as any promotion centered around video games, comics, and sci-fi properties, things generally associated with nerds or nerd culture. We will also be covering a few international promotions, as well as some related nostalgia, of course. As always, I am your host, Brian. Patreon.com/PixPortraits is what keeps all of this going. For just $5 a month, you can help out and get access to dozens of exclusive videos, as well as my book, The Nostalgia Economy, the ebook and audiobook. Physical copies are also available. Same with YouTube memberships, super thanks, everything helps. So if you like what we do and want to pitch in, please consider supporting us. The 90s. Why the 90s? Well, the 90s were the decade when nerd culture really broke into the mainstream. Representation was no longer limited to glasses and pocket protectors. Nerds had relationships. They were cool, by the standards of the day at least. Things associated with nerds were always popular with certain people, but during the 90s they had mass appeal. Video games went from being geeky and thought of as toys for kids to an essential piece of home entertainment systems. It was a dark time for comics themselves. However, the characters and heroes from comic books appeared in other media very successfully. Western audiences got a taste of adorable or hyper-violent animation from Japan. It became socially acceptable to be a nerd, and in one way or another, everyone became one. Decades are long, and we will see some major progress in terms of aesthetics as we go, as we normally do, in chronological order, more or less. We are going to be starting in 1990 with the biggest names in both fast food and video games, McDonald's and Nintendo. This was a couple years after the Nintendo Entertainment System was the hottest toy. Nintendo was firmly a pop culture phenomenon, and McDonald's offered 4 toys to promote the release of Super Mario Bros. 3, for which I found 3 different ads. One of them features a great Mario cameo in McDonald Land with Ronald and Grimace. Ronald makes his own block that produces burgers and fries, drinks. Another has a kid playing Mario who jumps out of the screen and steals the kid's McDonald's. The third one takes place in store, Mario jumping from table to table, animated. Interesting to note, this design is different than the Super Mario Bros. Super Show that premiered a year earlier. At this time, there was no set design for Mario, so in different commercials we see various cartoon Marios, they all look different. These toys all had some kind of a movement gimmick. The Goomba flipped, Mario got launched with this suction gimmick. You pumped the Paratroopa, Luigi was wind up. This was the first video game I ever played, and I do have some memories of this promotion. Definitely had the Mario. Another early memory I have is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles bicycle promotion at Burger King, 1993. They had a bunch of different gear to trick your bike out, a horn, license plate, pouch, water bottle. This was the Kids Club era, KidVid. TMNT was a massive media franchise in the late 80s, early 90s. Started as a violent indie comic, but would eventually blow up and appealed to children. Made a lot of people a lot of money. BK and the Turtles first partnered up in 1990. That year they had 3 promotions. One was for VHS tapes. The commercial is firmly rooted in the previous decade, the 80s, very similar to the famous Maxell cassette commercial. These tapes are fire, no lie. It wouldn't be a fast food video without cups, and BK offered these TMNT ones, also in 1990, a steal at 39 cents each. Rounding out the promotions is this one for what are dubbed badges. They all move, which is pretty cool. I'm sure most people, when they think about the Ninja Turtles and fast food, they think Pizza Hut. Anyone who owned the first movie on VHS probably remembers the baseball ad that played before it. You got some coupons with it as well. Badges similar to the Burger King badges were actually offered by Pizza Hut, only in Australia. The commercial features the turtles speaking, not the voice cast from the cartoon, like was heard stateside. Pizza Hut in the US promoted the cassette release of the Turtles Coming Out of Their Shells tour. This was a live tour that toured all over. Rock music, the Turtles performing rock, rap. You got this poster, tour book, and the cassettes, all for $3.99. Another good deal. Pizza Hut's competitor Domino's landed Nintendo shortly after the release of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. In 1992 and 93, Domino's ran promotions around Nintendo releases. First this one for Super Mario Kart. This talks to parents. There is only one thing your kid is into more than Domino's, and it's Nintendo. Some great animation here for a contest. You could win a SNES console, a Game Boy, apparently $25 million worth of stuff. Some of this would be reused the next year, basically for the same promotion. $25 million promotes Super Mario All-Stars, different commercial. Next, we have our sole Star Trek representation from across the pond, Pizza Hut, 1993-94. This first one references the original series, 2 crew members, narration like Kirk, cups, toys. The other one is a lot of fun though. It's all done in Klingonese. While we are away from America, here is a Japanese commercial for McDonald's Sonic the Hedgehog 3 promotion. We get a Japanese Ronald, toys come out of the screen, Sonic, Knuckles, and Robotnik. These toys would be offered in the US as well, along with the Tails. I love seeing the different ways that the same product is marketed between regions. Both revolve around a TV. The American kids wonder where Sonic goes when the TV turns off. Spoiler, he's at McDonald's. In addition to the toys, they had a contest where 10,000 people could win a copy of the game. Weirdly, Sonic also appeared in this ad for the Happy Birthday Happy Meal. I believe this would have been for the 15th anniversary of the Happy Meal. Tons of different properties appear here. Barbie, Muppet Babies, Looney Tunes, Peanuts, Multiverse, they build a train. Very cool promotion. Like I mentioned earlier, the 90s were a little rough on comics themselves, but the characters thrived. We've covered the release of Tim Burton's Batman movies in other videos, but my favorite Batman adaptation has to be the animated series. Just like they did for the Burton movies, McDonald's produced commercials that took place in the Batman universe. Gotham had its own McDonald's. 1993, they had 8 toys, both figures and vehicles, featuring characters from the show, very much like the Batman Returns promotion from a couple years earlier. Also in 1993, Pizza Hut ran a couple X-Men promotions. The first got you a comic, poster, trading card, and a videotape featuring episodes of the animated series. 2 different packs were available. The other promotion was a kids meal with a branded pizza box, a cup, classic, and one of 4 different comics. These are My X-Men, the Jim Lee designs, and Hardee's, which has popped up in these videos before, ran a promotion in 1995. I found multiple different commercials, some with animation. They had branded packaging and these really cool play sets, they call them. Apparently these were available also at Roy Rogers, which I've only had once in my life, on an overnight bus trip to New York. They also had toys and Pogs. Remember Pogs? They're back in X-Men form, and they're creatively named Fun Meal, their version of a Happy Meal, as well as trading cards, comics, temporary tattoos. The kid-centric commercial was pretty wild. The mother turns into Mystique at the end. It's outside of our timeline, but Hardee's had the Marvel license in the early 80s. They had cups, obviously. The commercial for these is also pretty weird. A husband dreams about them in bed beside his wife. She gets mad at him when he dreams about She-Hulk. They also had these 3D theaters, kind of like 3D comic strips. I found this internal McDonald's hype video featuring Stan Lee and a real-life Spider-Man. It's dated 1994, but dates with these can be weird. He wishes McDonald's all the best for 1995 and puts over the Spider-Man promotion from summer 95. Very cool, very similar to the Batman one. McDonald's appears in the Spider-Man cartoon from that time. He comes out of the TV, which is a trope we've seen in this video already. Happy Meal toys. The next year we got something similar, only with more of the Marvel superheroes. This ad is very 90s, down to the casting and the attitude. I found a couple variations. It ends with the Invisible Woman carrying a bag. One ends there, the other one has Spidey pop in with a quip. It was common to truncate certain ads and have a lead-in, for lack of a better word, usually featuring Ronald that would be reused year after year. Anyway, that is it for McDonald's and burgers in this video. Quite the opposite of what we've seen before, but alternative fast food, Taco Bell and Pizza Hut have absolutely dominated this. We have seen this in the past, Taco Bell's push for relevance in the late 90s, competing with McDonald's and Burger King, and they definitely landed some heavy nerdy licenses. Nintendo, I actually missed this one in the fast food Christmas video, but for holiday 1997, Taco Bell had Nintendo toys that came with these cool gift boxes. At the same time, they also had this Score 64 contest where you would peel the lid, and if you got 64, you won a prize, a console, car, money. Some awesome CGI here featuring Mario Kart. Absolutely love this. Same year, the original Star Wars films were re-released in theaters. They were dubbed the special editions because changes were made, effects updated, for better or worse. A lot of people didn't like these, or the prequels that came later. We've talked about them in other videos. This was back when nerds had to write in and mail their threats rather than just adding them. But yeah, this introduced an entire generation to Star Wars and reintroduced it to the zeitgeist, and it's only grown in size and popularity from here. Taco Bell got the license and ran with it. They had toys, gyroscope toys that would balance, an intergalactic draw where you could win a life-size Darth Vader or Stormtrooper. Another contest, Feel the Force, where you had to peel and then press the game piece against your head to see if you won. An N64 was among the prizes. This was a huge deal. Their sister restaurant Pizza Hut also got in on it. We've seen them cross-promote before, but the Pizza Head Star Wars promo is great. I love the effects here. They were offering posters. In 1998, Pizza Head shilled Marvel Comics, cups, and comic books. Similar setup to most of his commercials. He is thwarted or killed by Steve the Pizza Cutter. 1998 was also the year Pizza Hut teamed with PlayStation, which was a video game console aimed at an older audience. Their mascot, Crash Bandicoot, shows up very much like he did in Sony's commercials, trash-talking Nintendo, instructing a family to eat stuffed crust the right way, which is backwards. This promotion ran into 1999, with Crash showing up in a couple other ads. He gets pulled over for driving backwards, like you're supposed to eat the stuffed crust. Also, in a basement, does the same thing. This guy was in American Pie. They were giving out demo discs, which have definitely been lost to time. These let people try games out, play a level. There were several different demos on each physical disc. You can just download all of these now. The discs had menus, trailers, other video, like this period-appropriate rendition of a living room. It also had a contest where you could win $200,000. Wrapping things up today, we have another promotion that straddled 1998 and 99. Pokemon at KFC, first appearance, right at the end. Colonel Sanders has Gotta Catch 'Em All. We see the Millennium design of the Colonel playing a Game Boy Pocket, promoting Stuffies. This is before Pokemania really took off, and it's interesting that the Pokemon they choose aren't the most common or popular. Not having a Pikachu is wild, but yeah. This was not meant to be exhaustive. I'm sure there was some that I missed, so feel free to drop your favorites in the comments. Let me know what you remember, what you think. We will be covering this more over on Patreon, looking at some other nerdy fast food crossovers from the 90s and beyond, as well as my favorite fast food promotions. Support us if you can. Again, you get access to years worth of exclusive videos and can read my book, The Nostalgia Economy, for just $5. You can also buy a physical copy, become a member here on YouTube. Everything helps. As always, thank you so much for your interest in this channel, and thanks for watching. See you in the future.